This Memorial Day weekend will not be like previous Memorial Day weekends. I talked to Bart Treese and troopers around the Sound about holiday travel and what they're seeing on the roads. So we're going to touch briefly on a couple of things. Obviously, traffic is picking up. That's why we have Bart here. Heather, I want you guys to totally talk a little bit more about the speeding that is still going on. I can't get over this. And then we're going to talk a little holiday traffic too, because I don't know, Bart, but I'm going to just dive right into it. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of traffic for the holiday.
Really depends on what people do. It's a different Memorial Day weekend than we've had in years past. That's for certain. I've seen some travel on the weekends, when it's really nice, that picked up 2 weekends ago. Overall, travel is down about half as much as we've seen on weekends compared to 2019 numbers. So it really just depends on what people will do. We're hopeful people listen to the advice that they're given and stay close to home.
It's kind of crazy to watch, like I was looking at the numbers and you guys, troopers, you guys can jump in here anytime. Have you noticed an increase, I would say, within the last 2 weeks or so? You're seeing a few more people out there, or what are you noticing on the roads?
In Tacoma, we definitely have had an increase. I wouldn't say we're anywhere near what we were pre-COVID numbers, whatever you want to call it, because we're still not having the backups we would normally see. But there's definitely been an increase in traffic probably in the last three weeks or so. It's definitely picked up, but it's still moving. It's still flowing. And I don't see any red on the Google Maps right now. So.
I haven't seen a lot of red unless we have like one little thing and then it just goes away so quickly. Heather, what are you seeing in Snohomish County?
Still the traffic is flowing. However, northbound in Everett, while you exit to State Route 2, that in the last week or so has backed up. Definitely not to the volumes that we saw pre-COVID, but enough that it's not the regular flow that we've seen in the last month or so.
Sure.
So again, just heed everyone's warning. If you are going to go out for any kind of essential travel, be very prepared for any of the traffic volumes pick up unexpectedly.
Sure. Now, Trooper Van Cleef is monitoring King County right now, and what are you seeing? Are you seeing a pickup in volume, like when it comes to 405, I-5, and the cross the floating bridges too?
I think it's generally the same as what Heather and Ryan are seeing. Is the traffic's heavier than what it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. But our morning commute, when I came in this morning, there wasn't that northbound traffic on 167 that normally backs up.
Sure.
As I've been driving home, there haven't been those long, really long delays going southbound, and so. There's obviously more cars, but the backups and the traffic jams and the really extended drive times aren't nearly, what they were before the stay-at-home order and things like that. But just more cars.
Sure. Now, Bart, I know that you're like the multi-purpose guy. I know I can come to you about anything, and we don't have anybody here from the ferries to talk about this. So, coming into the holiday weekend, are we going to see? Do you think an uptick in ferry rides again?
I don't know for certain, Tracy. I could speak more about the roads, and really, it's for this weekend. It's difficult to predict. That's why we didn't put out our travel graphs that we normally do for
Sure.
Memorial Day weekend. So it really depends on what people will do.
Okay, now let's kind of dive into some of the road projects that are actually firing back up again. I noticed I-90 is going to see some restrictions coming up here real soon over Snoqualmie Pass. I know that we're really kind of focusing on a lot of people are used to not having a whole lot of cars on the road, so it's like getting retrained to watch for road crews.
We have some projects that are active now. There's some bridge deck repair work on US 2. And they've taken some of the top layer off some of those bridge decks out near Index, and you need good weather to repave it. So we've got some signs out there warning folks to be prepared, and I think that's another good thing for other people to keep in mind. If you are heading out and you see a work zone, make sure you're paying attention to the signs, because those are there to let you know of a changing condition, maybe to slow down, maybe to watch for flaggers or someone who's directing traffic. But just keep an eye out for the orange as you're heading out on the road if you are taking those essential trips And it is getting to the summer months. We do have projects that are coming back online, or phase one type activities, and our contractors are bringing in their health and safety plans. And at some point we expect that dial to turn up a little bit more and some additional work to resume. So it's a really fluid situation when it comes to construction and even our maintenance work out on the road. So folks really need to stay plugged in and be prepared to keep their eyes out for anything that may be a change, and follow those directions that those signs are advising.
I apologize. She just wants to get in on the act. Millie just wants to say hello to everybody. Okay. So troopers, let's touch a little bit, because this is like every time I flip open my Twitter account, I see something about speeding. That is still going on. I can't believe that.
Yeah, the speeds that we've seen up in my area have been absolutely crazy. And it's not like it's one or two. It is as if people just feel like NASCAR racing is the appropriate thing to do with the less volume traffic. The speed of 192 on Highway 2 is by far the fastest I have ever even heard of in my career here, this patrol. Really the fastest I've heard of outside of an actual planned racing event on a track. Aside from that astronomical speed, it is not uncommon for us to get anywhere between 110 to 120,
Sure.
almost on the daily right now.
I think what's happened a little bit, and this is my theory of thought here, is, you take for instance, riding an airplane. You're up in the air, what are you going, 400 or 500 miles an hour? You can't feel that speed, right? So now take an empty freeway and go 60, it feels slow. So I think what's happened is people are picking things up, and now these higher speeds are becoming the norm. And so it's going to be up to us to kind of, I don't know if this is a good word to use, but retrain everybody on how to drive at proper speeds on the freeway and be safe again. Because now we're seeing, 80 is like a cruising speed down the freeway, whereas before that's something you really, every couple cars you'd see. You're seeing a lot more of them now, and so it's going to be up to us, I guess.
Yeah. Bart, when is the last
get out there?
When's the last time we saw, like a normal commute? It's been since March, right?
Yeah, so traffic really bottomed out that last week of March, and that was the lowest essentially point that we've had for travel, and then it started creeping up from there. In the last 2 weeks, we've had to turn on our ramp meters because we've noticed congestion building in South King County and in Snohomish County along I-5, and those north-south routes are where we're really seeing it build up during the what we knew is the peak times during the morning and afternoons. And so that was something new, because some of those employment sectors are returning to work, and so that's just that's a result of those folks heading out for those types of trips. So we've been able to use those tools to help manage the congestion at the beginning of those onset peak periods, and then also help the freeway recover. But we are seeing it creep back up during the weekdays, and those ramp meters are kind of our telltale signs that, yep, we need to help do what we can to keep the freeway flowing nicely as much as we can. And it hasn't reached that point where it totally breaks down and we see those big backups and delays, but it's at that margin where we can manage just a little bit more and improve those mainline conditions just by using those ramp meters.
Trooper Van Cleef, what are you noticing in King County? Are you seeing quite the same thing that they are seeing in Tacoma and parts of Pierce County, the massive speeds and the fact that, it's wide open road, it's fair game for everyone?
Absolutely. It's similar, all up and down the I-5 corridor, and just with so much room on the freeways, people are just going fast, and it's the same up north as it is down south in Pierce County and Snohomish. It's just, we're just seeing so many cars going fast. It's not hard to go out. If you were to come out with us, you'd see that on the norm, 90, 95, people just going really, really fast. And, it's still just, it goes without saying, but crashes at those speeds are so unforgiving.
Right.
We just had a fatality car accident this last weekend. I think it was Friday or Saturday night at I-5 and 516. And that one was, again, I think speed was a factor in that one. But they're just, when you crash going those speeds, it's unforgiving. There's no taking those moments back. And, so we just want to make sure that people understand, like, we need to slow down for your safety and the cars around you. And that's why we're out here still stopping cars, issuing citations, making arrests when necessary, because we want to keep people safe, get them home safely, and make it through this time without any more, sad or tragic accidents.
I feel like the accident frequency hasn't gone down though. Since the start of COVID and the stay at home, stay healthy ordinance, I feel like the accident frequency is still relatively high.
I think there's still quite a few, but the collision numbers are extremely down here in District 2, and I think they're down everywhere across our state because traffic is down. And the ones we hear about, the big major crashes, those still are happening because the speeds are so high. But I think the ones that are down quite a bit for us are just the ones that happen because of the traffic jams, the fender benders where people are looking at their phones and stuck in traffic and stop and go. Those are down quite a bit, but we still are having quite a few crashes for the number of cars that are on the road. And that just goes back to slowing down, following distance, paying attention, not driving impaired, all those things that, those lessons and those, I guess, words of caution aren't changing from us, because those are still causing crashes, like you said, while the stay-at-home order is in effect.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also seeing less, like Jay said, less fender benders, but the higher speed. The big thing is we haven't taken a day off. There hasn't been less troopers out or anything like that. So we are continuing to monitor traffic, give citations, arrest people when appropriate. And ultimately, because we're there when your luck runs out. We see what happens when your luck runs out at an unforgiving speed like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think this kind of wraps things up. I just wanted to talk about a little bit of holiday travel, and we did that, but we really don't think that we're going to see a whole heck of a lot of that. And then, of course, the speeds, because quite frankly, anybody that I talk to wants to talk about what they've seen on social media and how fast people are going. So I appreciate everybody's involvement on that one. Needless to say, obey the laws no matter what. Just because it's wide open out there doesn't mean that you can go 180 miles an hour. Or what was it, 192?
Yeah, on US too.
The collective, all of us collectively shaking our heads was much enough. Right,
intoxicated there. At that.
Oh.
And not that 192 is at all safe. I mean, he's in a Corvette. It's a car that can definitely go that speed. Doesn't mean they need to. One sneeze and he probably would have vaporized, to be honest. I mean, seriously, it's just.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anybody have anything else that they want to add on this one?
I think also before you head out the door, if you do need to take a trip out there, know before you go. Take a look at our travel map to see what's going on the roads, or our mobile app also. Those are helpful tools, because we could still see incidents out there, and you may need to change your plans. Again, travel is restricted. It's essential trips, but folks still need to plan ahead, because we do have some work going on there. We have folks working on the side of the road, even though they may not be taking lanes. We still need folks, if they are making those trips, to watch out for the folks who are on the side of the roads working, because they have homes they want to go to after their shift, and at the end of the day, we want everyone to be home and stay safe.
Bart summed it all up. Very nice, Bart. Well, I wanted to thank Trooper Heather Axman, Trooper Ryan Burke, Trooper Chase Van Cleef, and Bart Treese from the Washington State Patrol, or rather Washington Department of Transportation. I want to make you a patrolman anyway, Bart, so just go ahead and do that too. But everybody, thank you again for your time today. I certainly appreciate it. And of course, we want you to stay safe and stay home and stay healthy.